should be okay.
I'm changing my background. Let me see. Hold on.
All right. Well, we are live, and in that black screen will be Nicole. She is working on her background magic so that everything looks amazing. There she is. Oh, look at that with the pool. Now we're looking like something. She is setting up.
Oh, now. Better?
Look at that. Better.
Yes.
So here we are live with Nicole Cates. Nicole Cates Washington. I have to remember the whole long name. And she's coming on here. One of her specialties, obviously she is a realtor and a broker. She has her own realtor group, Nicole Cates Realty Group, I think is what it's called. So, and one of her big specialties is short sales. And we know that we're probably going to go into a market where short sales are going to be there, and people are going to need to know what to do, how to handle them, how to live through them. So I wanted to have her come on and kind of discuss that with you guys. Hey, Nicole, how are you?
Hi, Dan. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. And it's great. I haven't been around in the public in a while, so it's nice to see like life, you know, it's still going on out there.
Yeah.
How is you and your family? Everything everything well? Everybody healthy?
Everybody's good. Everybody's inside, except for when we don't have to be, which is never.
That's awesome. And also to all you wholesalers out there, she invests in real estate. She will buy it up. So give her a call if you have a property. She does do that as well. So let's get into it. Obviously, short sales are important to you. That's something you've been focused on for years and years. And so what is a short sale going to look like in this new market we're going into?
So the basic definition of a short sale obviously is selling for less than it's worth or less than it's what they owe to the bank, their mortgage company, etc. In 2008, when the bottom fell out of the market, it was more of a financing issue. People couldn't get lending and the market was tanking essentially. So what it may look like now, I'll just give you a scenario. So let's say you have a $300,000 house. This last few months, the market has been really, really good. So you as a couple or family or whatever decide to refinance your home, take out cash. Maybe you want to do some renovations, buy a boat, whatever. These are the same things that people were doing then because you have equity and the market's really good. So you take that money out. And then Corona hits and the stock market tanks and values are horrible. And we may not have that $300,000 house is worth 175, but maybe now it's only worth 270. But you've taken out $100,000 to do these things because it was available to you. So when you're ready to sell, because now you or your spouse are no longer working, and maybe you are not going back to work because of everything that you need to sell your house. This $300,000 house is worth 270. You've taken out 100. So there's that math. And you've got to sell it as a short sale. That's probably going to be more likely of what the scenarios are for having to do it, as opposed to just the values are not good anymore. It's just that we were in a boom, people took out money, and now it's going to shift slightly. I don't think it's going to be bottom out totally, but it won't be able to cover a sale, commissions, and all of that.
So not like back in 07 where you had a $360,000 house that was worth 140 now.
Right. So now it may not be not worth 140 yet, but see, then here's what's going to happen. Nicole or you or somebody, the investor that sees that house at 270, investors don't want 10% off. So all it takes is 5 or 6 investors to convince the bank to sell them that house at 220. And then that market starts to shift in that area. So now that 270 is dropping to 250, to 240, to 230, to 220. And these mortgages are still at 300.
Oh, so we're helping the market go the other direction. Oh, all right, and then so somebody goes is going through this process, and you obviously they sit down with you. You explain to them, okay, after doing some comps, it looks like you're going to be in a situation where we need to do a short sale, and now
Yes.
you're going to need certain documents and everything from that homeowner. What will they need to provide you?
So you as a realtor are going to assess their value and what they would be due, if any, and they're not going to be due anything. Typically, probably going to offer, because that's where they're headed right now, is the loan modification or some forbearance. This is really just to keep them in tune and they don't have to lose money. So they may adjust their payment for 3 months to see if they can catch up or put it on the back end of the loan, but it's all going to become due. The difference with that is if you're not working, it really doesn't matter what they reduce it to because it's not affordable. But you do have to go through that process. So they're going to ask you for your bank statements, your tax returns, probably some proof that you are no longer employed, a statement of unemployment of some sort of record that you're getting unemployment, and a financial worksheet that explains all of your expenses, what you're paying out every month, and where you're negative, including that mortgage that you can no longer afford. This is going to put together a story of unaffordability for them to approve for you to sell your home at a short payoff.
Wow. So there is a process so that they can make sure that you're prepared. Now, I went through a short sale, my wife and I, back during the recession, and man, it was 27 months that
Yeah.
we went through that. So now
Well,
you go ahead. I'm sorry.
they're a lot more streamlined now. Back in, I guess it must have been like between 2008 2011, nobody knew or expected that to happen. So the banks weren't even prepared for the volume of short sales that came in, and they couldn't manage everything. Now it's pretty automated. You can get them done in about 40 to 60 days.
Nice. So I know she broke up there a little bit, but she said that 40 to 60 days, you can get one pretty much done now. You're back. I see you.
Okay.
No worries. So what she was saying to us, Facebook world, was that just the time frame back in the recession, banks weren't prepared, so they were getting inundated and they just couldn't keep up. Now they're pretty much streamlining them between 40, 60, 90 days. You're getting them done. So a lot quicker. And obviously they've been educated from the last recession, so I'm sure they're helping there. So now you've got all this, and now you need to go. Now you need to get an offer to make to the lender. So you don't just make an offer, right? Now, do you bring it to market, see what offers you get, and then bring that offer to the bank, or is it vice versa?
Well, the bank obviously wants the most that they can get. They're trying to make their loss as little as possible. So they want you to bring it to the market. They want you to put it on the market for a minimum of 30 days, 60 days, because you have to show them the history that it's been on the market before they will take drastic discounts. So they're not going to come right out and just accept anything. They want to see what the market is going to net them.
And but obviously you can't put it on the market for what they owe, because the property's worth what it's worth. You got to put it on for what it's worth and then work from there. And then you obviously discuss that with the bank once you start to get offers.
Yes, you would put it on what it's worth, and then of course submit the comparables that you came up with in order to get the value.
Now with this, when we start to see this start to happen, because I think we probably are going to see this a little bit happen, as you said at the beginning, are you going to? So what happened before is people were like, "Oh my goodness, my property just lost $150,000. It's not worth what I'm paying. I'm just going to stop paying. I want to go find another property." And people were just saying, "The heck with it," right? Now, in this new market that's coming in, this new short sale, are you going to would you recommend people hold on a little bit if they can, or how would you advise folks right now that might start to see that effect? Obviously, as a realtor, you want a listing, right? So that's true. I mean, that we're in the business of that, but also we're also in the business of helping people. So if you are in there and advising them on a strategy, maybe as the values get closer, they'll still give you that sale and you'll still be able to move forward. So I guess there's a fine line to being what we do and how we.
So, yes. So there is an answer for that question that um, I have to choose it a little bit carefully because there's have a need. That need is usually you're not paying.
Right.
If you are paying your mortgage every month, if you're paying your mortgage every month, the bank really has no incentive to work with you to have a short sale because they're getting their mortgage payment. So we don't go in and suggest you don't pay, but we also explain that as long as you're paying, you typically cannot do a short sale. And then here is the example that you would give as a realtor to your client. Listen, you purchased this home. I'm assuming you considered it an asset. You had equity at some point. You took that equity or whatever the situation is. You purchased this home because you consider it to be an asset. So consider this home as a trash can that you own.
Sure.
And this trash can
Break it up.
going into that hole. Do you want to keep putting your mortgage payment into the empty trash can with the hole, or do you want?
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yes, makes a lot of sense. You were breaking up a little bit there, so it was tough to.
Okay, what
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Good. So no, you just basically, from what I got from it was you don't want to keep filling up a trash can with garbage. You want to go out and fix the issue, get a new trash can to live in.
Without a hole.
Upgrade from like a rubber one to maybe a nice big steel one. Yeah,
Right.
that's perfect. I get it. And I understand because I know when we went through it, we were paying. And then when I called the bank to ask for help, they said, well, you've been paying, so we're not going to help you. And then, so I said, okay, I got news for you. And then a month later, they called me and said, hey, what's going on? You've been paying your mortgage. I said, well, I called you for help and you said you wouldn't help me because I paid. So now what? And they were like, well, you got to pay. I'm like, well, no, we already had this discussion. So yes, so I definitely understand the process because I've lived it myself. And I know a big fear that people have is they've worked their whole life to kind of make their credit right. And then now the people that just aren't paying because they don't want to pay, that's a whole different story. But for the folks that legitimately go through a life altering situation, which we're going through right now, we've been furloughed, or you don't have a job, or you lost your business and had to close it down. And now you've worked your whole life to build up this credit. And now you're worried that if I do this all down the drain, what would how does it affect your credit? Can you buy after that? What's the term and time limit?
The honest answer is yes, it will affect your credit, just as everything else is going to affect your credit. The difference is the rebuilding is not as complicated because it will be an understanding that this is the situation you were in. You didn't just neglect your home. You just weren't able to pay for whatever reason. So I'm pretty sure that somewhere along the line, creditors, there'll be letters that you can write for mortgage lates that would show, hey, I had this home. I wound up doing a short sale. This is the reason why my credit score dropped, but I'm here today and I've rebuilt and I can buy. So prior, it was 2 years that you had to wait. I don't know what the guidelines will be, moving forward. It may be based on the reason that you did a short sale that will determine how soon you can purchase again.
So yeah, because they're going to come out with new guidelines, I'm sure.
Right.
So have you been getting any calls on this already? Have you been seeing some of this start to come to life?
The short sales existing that I'm working that we have now are just people who were already kind of in that situation already. So it doesn't have anything to do with COVID. It probably can be rolled into that now
Sure.
because it kind of it all went together. But the calls that I'm getting now are more of, what do you think I should do? Should I take this forbearance? And to touch on that piece, I really would suggest, if you get a call from a homeowner that is considering doing a forbearance or any type of delayment of their payment, that they really, or you read it with them of what they're actually doing. Because if it's $3,000 a month and they're deferring you for 3 months, in 3 months, you're going to owe them $9,000. I don't know what type of jobs these people have, or that's a lot to drop in 3 months if you're not told exactly what's going to happen in 3 months. You're going to need to write us a check for $9,000.
Yeah, people think that they're just, hey, don't pay for 3 months, you're fine. And then the third, yes, yeah. So not only are you going to owe those 3 months, you're going to owe the fourth month too. So now if you're $3,000 a month, you're looking at $12,000 right there. So it takes a lot to make $12,000. So no matter what business you're in, right? So yeah, you need to look at that carefully. And I know now, I guess you'd advise investors out there, they've got rental portfolios that you're very well aware of. You've been dealing with investors for many years. They've got rental portfolios. It's not their homestead, but now as they've been doing their BRRRRs, now the market shifts. They've got money in their homes, but they're still, maybe the cash flow has come to where maybe they're breaking even.
Right.
Do you tell the investor to hold on? What do you advise as an investor?
So I really would have to say it depends on what type of investor they are, how they've set up their business, quote unquote. If you're just a single that is renting to a couple different properties, that's one aspect. If you run your investments like a business, maybe it's under a corporation and you're not getting rents because your tenants are also in these situations. Now they've got so much relief for those people because they're structured in a way where it's really a true business. It's like a small business. They have properties, they have portfolios. You can actually go to your bank and request a portfolio loan to tide you over until this, as a business, that you can't do as an individual. So I think for every person, that's going to look different.
Oh, great. And that's great information, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have no idea there's a portfolio loan that's offered. And
well, the banks are really just getting calls from people saying, help me, I don't want to pay right now. I got these 10 houses. They've got about 10,000 in equity in each of them. That's 100,000. Can you give me a line of credit portfolio for my 10 properties so I can float my rents until this is over? Or
because I know that I was in the middle of refining 2 of my rentals, and all of a sudden it was like, sorry, can't do this now. So I was like, oh, so now I'm kind of in that wait situation. So I didn't even know that was available to me. So I'm glad I got on the phone with you and asked you, and this is why I do this, everybody. I get folks in our industry or in any industry or small business owners and get on and have them provide us all this information, because there's a lot of people in our niche, that in our industry, that have their niche, and they are very experienced and well-versed in their niche. And obviously she is, as far as investing and in short sales. And obviously as a realtor, she's a broker, so she understands all aspects. But this is why I bring folks like Nicole on, so that we can learn. And not all of us do the same thing. Some people are into real estate to do property management. Some people are into real estate to to invest and do other things. And I just appreciate you coming on and teaching us about short sales. And I'm sure as we get to the other side of this and the economy starts to open up again, we're going to have you on here again, because I'm sure there's now the lenders are actually going to put out structures and put out requirements and say, okay, here's what we're seeing. Here's what's needed now. Here's what the banks are saying. Here's what we're seeing from, I'm sure, from underwriting and if you're a 1099, if you pay taxes, if you work for some, I'm sure all that stuff is considered. Plus, minimum scores are changing, minimum requirements are changing, the type of loans you can get right now are changing. I had Ryan Thomas on right before you. He was talking about that. So I'm sure once we get to the other side of this, you're going to have to come back on with me so you can explain now, hey, we've got requirements, we've got process, here's what we need to do to get through it. And then if any of you realtors out there need someone to refer your business to for short sales, Nicole's the one. I know I was with Encore for a long time and we referred our short sales to her. I know Desmond was on the phone with you the other day with a referral. And yeah, don't try and do it yourself if you don't know how or you can't. Get help. Even if you split a deal with her, at least you've got somebody walking you through the process and you're learning and getting educated. But definitely get in touch with her. And Nicole, again, thank you. And when we get off the phone, please put all your information into the comments, how they can get a hold of you, contact info and everything. And not just for the folks that'll need you for that and realtors that need someone to refer to, but there's a lot of investor wholesalers out there looking to partner up on deals and find somebody to get involved with deals. And I know that you're highly involved in that side too. So I appreciate you. And I told you I'm going to try and do a Zoom where we can get every like a local, because I believe if we all align with each other right now, we can help each other out. So I'm going to try and set up a call that way. I know everybody's busy. Trying to do their thing to get through this. But anyway, I appreciate everybody coming on. And Nicole, thanks. Stay healthy.
And
You still look better in person than on your business card. So, and I'm glad you didn't wear your pajamas.
on the bottom.
And the microphone was my fault. Sorry.
Yeah.
But thanks. You take care and be safe.
You too.